Okay, so my name is Ray Newal, and I'm really happy to be here. Hang on. Oh, that's up. Oh, that's my face. So there's a story behind this picture. This picture is from 2010 November. I happen to be in Mumbai, India, and I'm in a hospital, and I think, oh, it's still up. Yeah, I'm in a hospital, and I'll tell you the story how I got there. So the story starts in 2007 when I leave my career in ad tech, and I decide I want to go democratize streaming video to the next billion users of the internet, who happen to be in India, a lot of them. So I'm working with two founders who happen to be in Toronto and Ottawa. They happen to have families and houses and mortgages and all those kinds of things. And someone, after 2 years of struggling to get this business off the ground in Toronto, we figure out the only way to do this is if one of us moves to India. So guess who that was? So off I go to India with 2 bags and get there. So when you get to India, and I look Indian, but I'm not Indian. Any rickshaw driver will tell you that. So I get there, and here's the thing. Pretty much everyone who goes to India to live, the first 6 months, you have fever and diarrhea, like pretty much every day. So when I had that, I didn't pay too much attention to it until the fever got so bad that I was having migraines. So I go to the hospital, and I'm at the hospital, and they treat me for typhoid. And that wasn't as scary as the fact that I had no health insurance. But the bigger issue was I was in the middle of a Series A negotiation with Sequoia and 40 prominent angels. So yeah, and it was it was a do or die situation. I needed to get through it. We needed the money, and here's the problem. I had spent literally 4 days, delirious, and didn't talk to anybody. My partners are biting their nails, not sure what the hell to do next. And I now come out of it, and I'm like, okay, what do I do? So the question for the crowd is, how would you convey this story to everyone you would need to? Here's the thing. You probably want to have a live conversation, right? But imagine you're 11 and a half hours away and try to make that happen. It's pretty tough. So you tend to, okay, well, maybe I'll send an email. But this is a pretty sensitive situation, so you wouldn't necessarily want to do that. And now, if I were in an office beside everybody, I'd be able to look at them. I'd be able to use visual cues for availability to tell whether they were actually available for me to have a conversation with them, and it would be easy, okay? But the problem is, and I know I mentioned a pretty acute use case, but for a lot of people in distributed teams, you can't do that. You can't actually look beside you and tell when to have a conversation. And I experienced in running a company, we eventually did raise the money from Sequoia. I built a team of 30 in Mumbai, and I had 5 people in Ottawa. But getting those 2 groups to work together without live conversations, without live discussions, was really tough. So the issue is, as a distributed team, you lean heavily on asynchronous messaging. And we all do it. So we get 400 messages every day. That adds up to 23 minutes lost every time we get interrupted, 4 to 5 hours of lost productivity. The point is, asynchronous communication, if used for everything, is highly inefficient. So I'm here today, and we're really, really happy to be here, and we appreciate the opportunity. We want to show you a demo of Dose. Our whole purpose of Dose is to make live discussions easier for distributed teams. How many of you use Slack in the audience? Wow, that's huge. So we love Slack. We started using Slack before we knew what we wanted to be when we grew up. And I can tell you, one of the things we loved about Slack was when we happened to get together in a channel for a discussion at the same time. It was amazing. It was like magic. But making that happen was hard. So within the scope of what we're trying to do, we thought we would make live discussions easier in Slack. So let me show you how that happens. Okay, so this is our Slack team. I happen to be in a TechTO channel. So basically what we've done is we've made it easier for people to start live discussions in Slack. So I'm going to set up a live discussion now. The way I do that is by typing /D in any channel in Slack. So I'm going to start a live discussion to review my performance tonight with my team. So as you can see with Dose, it gives me the ability here to schedule a live discussion when my team's available. So Dose checks availability and it tells me I can start a discussion at 10 to 11 tomorrow morning. So I'll click on Discuss Live because I want to have that discussion live. And there you go, there's the confirmation. So what's going to happen now is that is going to get posted in the channel at about 10 o'clock, between 10 to 11, and it's going to try to start a live discussion. So we're really doing everything we can to engage people into a live discussion. So what's happened here is Deshi, one of my teammates, is discussing, looks like he wants to discuss drinks tonight. So him and one other person are in this group. So I'll click on that, and okay. So we start a separate area for the discussion to happen. This is a discussion that ends. So these are intended to be short. They're not lasting. So sure, it looks like Ray needs a drink. He actually does. So we can have our discussion now. And basically, this is where the discussion ends up going on. And the point is that this discussion doesn't happen in the channel. It happens outside so that you're not interrupting the rest of the channel. But the idea is to be able to get everybody into a live discussion because that's where, again, the magic happens. So I think TechTO is buying drinks tonight at Amsterdam Brewhouse, so we'll see everybody there. And so anyway, that is how a discussion works. So I'll go back to TechTO 2016. Okay, so this is the channel that I'm in. Oh, so let me show you something. Let me show you a recap. So what happens is after a discussion, one of the challenges you have is when you have a great discussion in Slack, you often want to share that with people who weren't there. So what we do is we allow you to create an easy recap of the discussion. So this is what that looks like. Yeah. Okay, sorry, I'm told I'm out of time. So anyway, that's about it. I want to thank you. I'll close that. I want to thank you for your time today. We are now available in the Slack app directory for download. So all those Slack users, please try Dose and send me your feedback. I'd love it. We're early days. And by the way, if there's any data scientists in the crowd, we're really trying to crack availability or cognitive availability, and I'd love to hear from you. Thanks. Okay, I have time for 2 questions. Wow, is that great? I think we have one over here.
So, social platform, what made you decide to not build your own and build on top of Slack?
Right. So Slack for us is a preview. So we talk about what we're launching today as a preview. We really envision ourselves connecting various services together. Our whole core is really managing something we refer to as cognitive availability. So replacing those visual cues you would have beside you with other cues to enter live discussion. We think Skype and Hangouts and all those other places, and Slack included, have created great environments for the discussion to happen. The issue is really about getting people synchronized together. So that's what we're focused on. And for the short term, we're interested in connecting those different services together. Okay, one more question. Over there, I think we have one. Yes. I saw one deep in the crowd.
So my question is that we have so many different solutions for video calling, conference calling, and cognitive abilities and expressions can be much better when you're actually video calling rather than using emojis or live discussions. Then what exactly is the pitch here that I would start using this solution than anything else?
So again, we don't want to replace videos or emojis or anything like that.
Why would I use this in Slack because Slack also has a call feature?
Right.
So why would I use this?
So again, we're more focused on people who are distributed, so they're not together in the office. So the issue of voice calling is when you actually want to have a voice call with someone, you need them to be there. right? You need them to be across from you when you're making that call. And it's not just about being physically there, it's also about being cognitively there, right? It's being there and being present. So this is what we're really trying to get to the heart of, is getting a definition of what physical presence, or sorry, of what cognitive presence is, so that we can make more meaningful conversations and discussions happen. Thanks a lot, everyone.